Today, we will work on the third part of the best TradingView indicators for price action traders. We will look into best supply and demand indicators and test them. In the first section, I'll talk about basic supply and demand blocks such as order blocks, breaker blocks, and mitigation blocks. In the next part, I'll test the best supply and demand indicators. In the final part, we will go over the final results to understand how can we use these TradingView indicators. If you're ready, let's start. Welcome our free trading course, all about price action trading strategies and smart money concepts. This video is mostly focused on supply and demand-based TradingView indicators. I also set the table of contents for the free trading course. You can find it on Google Drive or directly from my website, which is in the description. It is important to watch the videos in order to fully understand everything. Okay, as you remember, we have 6 different indicator types that are really useful for price action traders. Let's see them again. Inefficiency indicators, support and resistance indicators, supply and demand indicators, market structure indicators, volume indicators, total SMC indicators. Today our focus will be supply and demand indicators. Actually, it will be mostly the order blocks. Because order blocks are the strongest and the most powerful supply and demand zones in the block family. Most of the time, much more powerful than breaker blocks and mitigation blocks. Let's talk about the test environment. I created 2 different tests. This will be my first test. I drove them myself. These are extreme points of supply and demand after high quality breaks. What I want to see is if these order block indicators can identify these areas. What I mean is I want to see if these indicators can think like me. In the second test, I created this very simple trade setup. Our classic swing failure pattern, then a high quality break and pullback to the premium zone, and entering a reaction from the order block area, our supply area. I want to see if any of these indicators can catch this supply area and the order block. I hope everything is clear. Let's see if any of these indicators can pass the tests. Let's start with the first indicator. Actually, I tested over 30 indicators before selecting these 4 indicators. I'll be honest with you, most of the indicators in the market are actually useless. These are kind of usable. Our first indicator is called higher order blocks from the PMK7. This is a nice and simple indicator without many complications. This indicator does not have any adjustable settings. It is what it is. I disabled everything, just keeping the order blocks. I also left the market structure break lines open. I wanted to see if this indicator can identify the MSB points like me. Let's see if this indicator can identify the overall extreme zones that I pre-identified. As you can see, it draws the gray zone, which exactly matches my supply area. Moreover, it draws this green line, which I would draw as a strong break line. Now it draws another nice break with a supply zone. However, the price has already dropped a lot, so I would be careful with it before taking an entry from here. Okay, as you can see, it drew another great break line here. Moreover, it exactly matches my extreme demand area. Now, my first opinion. This indicator does a really great job of identifying overall breaks and supply and demand zones. Let's see the rest of the action. In this test, I have prepared a really simple trade setup. What I want to see is if the indicator can identify the supply area as I would. Let's see. As you can see here, it draws a great break line. It also identifies the supply area and takes the whole candlestick into account. I enjoyed this indicator. It was very accurate. The second indicator is actually a total smart money indicator by a big firm. Do not worry, it is free and it is not sponsored or anything. I'll give an honest opinion about it. It is called Smart Money Concepts from the Lux Algo. This is a really complicated indicator. I will retest this indicator in part 6, which will be dedicated to full smart money indicators. As you can see on the screen, this indicator has so many features. I disabled all of them, just keeping the swing order blocks. Because all I want is to test the extreme and most powerful order blocks, the best supply and demand zones. Now let's do the same tests for the second indicator. I think you fully understand what I do here. I want to check if the indicators think like me or not. Okay, here the red box appears, exactly how I would draw. Now, this indicator has failed to draw my demand box area. Not a good sign for me. In the end, it draws another demand area, which is also extreme area. This is not bad, but it failed to identify my first demand area. Let's check the position test. Unfortunately, this indicator has failed to identify my supply area. It also failed to identify the second order block after the second big break. Right now, the first indicator is leading the race. This third indicator is another simple and powerful indicator without many features. It is called order blocks. You can find the indicator with the programmer's name. Again, if you look at the settings, not so many things to play with. I just keep the market structure and supply and demand settings checked. And I check the stop plotting used boxes tick box. This indicator already identified many supply and demand order blocks. Please ignore the previous zones, just focus on the ones I drew. Now I want to stop for a moment. As you can see, this indicator is very sensitive. It is not wrong, it just identifies every micro break and order block, and it does a really good job. If you are into quick in and outs, this indicator could be more useful than the first two indicators. Now, as you can see, this indicator identified my extreme supply area well. Okay, this is interesting. It identified both my extreme supply and demand, and it did a good job. However, it is quite sensitive, identifying all the micro order blocks within my general area. Let's see how it performs with my position test. Now, as you can see, it did a great job of identifying my main supply order block. However, it also identified other micro order blocks. Okay, I like this indicator. However, it feels very sensitive and it may confuse the beginners. For me, it does not matter because I know which order blocks are more useful than others. This last indicator is another very complex indicator with many settings to play with. It is called supply-demand order blocks. As you can see on the screen, it has so many settings. As a lazy person, when I see these many settings, I just get bored. Actually, I did not change anything. You are welcome to play with settings due to your liking. Now, this indicator is kind of more specific. It looks like it identifies engulfing based order blocks or more internal order blocks rather than the extreme ones. If you look closely, it identifies mostly engulfing based order blocks, and nothing wrong with it. Many traders use order blocks based on engulfing patterns. As you can see, it identifies my extreme supply and demand zones very well. Not bad. Let's see the position test. Unfortunately, it really does not do a great job for my entry test. It misses my extreme supply area. Now, as a result, I loved the first indicator. It thinks like me, finding extreme supply and demand zones. Also identifies great market structure breaks. Rest of the indicators also good, but they had many drawbacks compared to the first indicator. Okay folks, this was our third video for identifying the best TradingView indicators for price action trading. I'll be testing top indicators for day traders and scalpers and share the results. I hope that this video improves your day trading and scalping skills. I hope you subscribe to the channel and like the video. Please take care and see you soon.